بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عما يتساءلون عن النبأ العظيم الذي هم فيه مختلفون. كلا سيعلمون ثم كلا سيعلمون. ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا والجبال أوتادا وخلقناكم أزواجا وجعلنا نومكم سباتا وجعلنا الليل لباسا وجعلنا النهار معاشا وبنينا فوقكم سبعا شدادا وجعلنا سراجا وهاجا وأنزلنا من المعصرات ماء ثجاجا لنخرج به حبا ونباتا وجنات ألفافا إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا يوم ينفخ في الصور فتأتون أفواجا وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا إن جهنم كانت مرصادا للطاغين مآبا لابثين فيها أحقابا لا يذوقون فيها بردا ولا شرابا إلا حميما وغساقا جزاء وفاقا إنهم كانوا لا يرجون حسابا وكذبوا بآياتنا كذابا وكل شيء أحصيناه كتابا فذوقوا فلن نزيدكم إلا عذابا إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أطرابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Thank you for studying Surah An-Naba. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you all for attending the program, especially in the cold of today and it being the middle of the week. I just wanted to make a quick kind of like note of encouragement to everybody before I invite Brother Abbas. And that is, I know it's very easy for our whole community to come on Saturdays, but sometimes I imagine that Allah looks at those days when it's very, very inconvenient for us to come, yet still we take the time out of our schedules to come whenever it is in the middle of the week to remember the Ahlul Bayt and to hold programs in remembrance and hopefully to get close through their wasila, inshallah. So may Allah reward all of you for coming out tonight, and especially to everybody that comes out on those nights when it's convenient for everybody to come out, but you also make time to come out on those days when maybe there aren't that many people. So inshallah, may Allah reward you for that. Without further ado, if everybody can move towards the front as Brother Abbas comes towards the podium. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It's okay, no problem. You can sit there, no problem. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the temptations, from the whisperings of shaitan, because those whisperings of shaitan are very powerful. And so our only hope, therefore, is to seek protection in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I begin today's talk in the name of Allah Azza wa Jal, who is first and foremost Ar-Rahman, meaning that His mercy is so wide, it is so deep, it encompasses everything. Even that entity which denies the existence of God, God gives that entity the ability to enjoy the blessings. That is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But above and beyond that, He is also Ar-Rahim, meaning His special mercy is reserved for those who submit, who testify to His oneness, and who live their life with a purpose. And the purpose is to submit to His will and His command. And so we pray that may Allah Azza wa Jal also avail us from this special mercy of His, inshaAllah. Yesterday and today marks a very important time in the history of Islam, and especially in the commemoration of the Ahlul Bayt. And as Brother Muhammad said, that there's one thing to come regularly on a Saturday, but there are some very important and significant dates in the Islamic year. And it makes me wonder sometimes that if we think about Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, his tragedy was the same, right? His message was pure, and the indications were there for people to understand who he was, but then people would make excuses, right? Today, for example, it is cold. Back then it was too hot, right? And then people would say that, yeah, but the comfort of this life, and why do we need to come out, and excuses after excuses, right? And so the tragedy of our Imam was the same, that even though the signs were there, but people were just too comfortable and couldn't find it within themselves to overcome their comfort. So these struggles that we do, small struggles, these all amount to something. And just today I was thinking that if we were to look around Austin, just say for example, how many places of worship are there? Places where God's name is mentioned. These are places of worship, right? A synagogue, a temple, a church, a mosque. Let's say roughly there are 100, roughly, give or take. How many of those are mosques? Roughly say 10. I mean, there are probably 7 or 8, but let's just say 10. Of these 100 places where God is remembered, 10 of them are Muslim places of worship. But only one of them holds the name of Mawla Ali ibn Abi Talib, right? And out of that one place, right, the name of Hussein will always be there, right? No matter what generation comes after us, the name of Hussein will always be there. But it sometimes makes us wonder, right, that if we are on the right path, and we know we are on the right path, right, then why is it that the situation of the Ummah in our situation is so difficult to understand, difficult to comprehend, right? But this is nothing new. This is the same tragedy that faced our Imams. So today what I want to do is spend a bit of time talking about the life of the 11th Imam, and then transfer into some pointers on the life of the 11th Imam. So the timing is a little bit interesting because 8th Rabiul Awwal, yesterday, the 11th Imam dies. And then today begins the Imamat of our 12th Imam, Sahibul Zalaman, salawatullah wa salamu alayhi. So putting aside the sad event and the happy event, those things, we can put those aside, but it's important to just understand what transpired in the lives of these individuals. So I want to spend a little bit of time just explaining about the life of the 11th Imam and then the circumstance in which he was. First and foremost, Imam was born in a town called Samarra. If you break it down, Samarra, Sa'a man ra'a, right? Pleasing or coolness to the person who sees it. Sa'a man ra'a, right? We say it fast, Samara, right? Or Samarra. But actually back then, at the time of the 11th Imam, it was a garrison town. It was very conveniently located, and so a cool breeze used to go through there. And so it was a garrison town, meaning army was located there. So the Khalif of the time, he had an army over there, right? So for example, one of his titles is Al-Askari. Our 11th Imam, one of his titles is Al-Askari. Askar means army, right? So he grew up in a town. There's a story about how he got that name, but he grew up in a town where there was an army of the governor at the time. He became the Imam at the age of 22. So at the age of 22, his father died, the 10th Imam, and then the 11th Imam became the Imam, age of 22. At the time, he faced a lot of hardships. One, and I will go into the details of these caliphs, one of them was that he was constantly under house arrest, always being observed. The Khalif would always be curious about what is going on, and he would have his spies watching the Imam, right? And what was his concern? The same concern that Fir'aun had at the time. Fir'aun, at his time, was told that somebody will come, a male child will come, he will destroy you. He will destroy you. So therefore, he had told his soldiers, make sure that every male child that is seen is found and killed, right? Little did he know that in his own house, Musa would grow up, right? 11th Holy Imam, same. Word had spread that his son, the Mahdi, will be the one who will go into hiding. Now, the Khalif of the time now was aware, and so was constantly trying to make sure this man doesn't have any children. And if you find his children, make sure that you take care of them, he would tell his people, right? So the Khalif at the time, he was of the Banu Abbas. Now let me give some history about these different Khalifs. So first, the Prophet ruled. After the Prophet, in Islamic history, I'm not talking about Shiaism, Islamic history, so everybody agrees, right? After the Prophet, we have Khalifatu Rashidun. Khalifatu Rashidun. Rashidun means what? Rightly guided. So there are 4 Khalifatul Rashidun. So what does that mean? After them, none of them were Rashidun, right? Another way to put it. So we have the 4 Khalifatul Rashidun, right? We have the 3 Khalifs and then Imam Ali. These are the 4 Khalifatul Rashidun. And then we get into a period of Banu Umayyah. Banu Umayyah, starting from Muawiyah, la'natullahi alayh, started to rule, and they had an enmity towards Banu Hashim. It was an obvious enmity. We are Arabs, but we are better than you, right? So the Banu Umayyah had an open rivalry with the Banu Hashim. So they had no problems in harassing the Imams. No problems. Because our blood is better than your blood. And so this argument would go on. So the Banu Umayyah were very open in their enmity towards the family of the Prophet, right? This is why you find, for example, Yazid was so bold in what he did. Because he openly would say that my grandfather, Abu Sufyan, will be happy that I took revenge in Karbala. So it was obvious. The enmity, the hatred of the Banu Umayyah Khalifs was obvious. They ruled for 90 years, right? Now, up till Marwan. Now come the Banu Abbas. Now the Banu Abbas who ruled for 800 years. This is the tragedy of our history. Banu Umayyah, 90 years. Banu Abbas, 800 years. Mateen, you need to stop. Banu Abbas, 800 years. Now, let us understand the Banu Abbas, okay? I'm going to give a few examples just to understand the Banu Abbas. You know, today when we look at some of these leaders in these so-called Muslim countries, and we try to think, how is it possible that these people can wear this garb, right? This religious garb, and then do what they're doing? The Banu Abbas were no different. They were just the same. Except Banu Abbas were vicious and violent. Vicious and violent. The first of them in history is known as As-Saffah, the bloodthirsty. His nickname is Saffah, the bloodthirsty, the first of their caliphs. So from the beginning, right, they have this concept of wanting vengeance. Anybody who argued with them, disputed them, even if it was their own son. Last time we had Maulana from San Antonio, Mahdi Rastani, right? And he mentioned the example, right, of the 8th Holy Imam. In his time, there were 3 caliphs. And the reason there were 3 caliphs is because one son killed the other son, right, just to get revenge, just to take power. This is the Banu Abbas. They were bloodthirsty, violent, and vicious. So the Banu Umayyah, enmity to the Ahlul Bayt, hated the Ahlul Bayt. Banu Abbas not only hated the Ahlul Bayt, they were bloodthirsty and violent. Right? 800 years they lasted. Let me give you one story of the Banu Abbas. Harun al-Rashid is a famous Khalifa. Right? If you read history, for example, there was one Sunni book I was reading where it is mentioned Harun Rashid radiyallahu anhu because he opened the gates of knowledge. Because he opened the gates of knowledge. There is no doubt that the Khalifas would give a lot of money to spread things, right? But then they were not radiyallahu anhu in any way whatsoever. Harun Rashid was a Khalifa of the time. As he was looking at his city, right, he would go around, with his entourage, with his people. Platoon bhi aati hai na sab saath mein, right? He doesn't go by himself, right? He comes with his own platoon of people. So he would ask his people, who does that property belong to? And they would say, that one Khalif belongs to Yahya Barmaki. They would see another one. Who does this property belong to? They would say, oh, this one Khalif belongs to Yahya Barmaki. Right? So they would go around touring the city, and Harun al-Rashid would look at all these properties belonging to Yahya Barmaki. Now, who was Yahya Barmaki? Yahya Barmaki is a famous family back then. Yahya was his prime minister. Harun Rashid is the Khalif. Yahya is his prime minister. He would tour the city and people would tell him these properties belong to Yahya. So he would go back to his home and he would wonder that, how is it that Yahya has more properties than I do? Now it started bothering him. Now this is Banu Abbas. The point I'm trying to make is look at the Banu Abbas. Imagine our Imams, their life is so difficult. Now understand the Banu Abbas. Harun Rashid goes home and he wonders that why Yahya has so much property. Barmaki Khandan family was reputable, but now they were becoming important. This bothered Harun Rashid. One fine day, Harun Rashid wakes up. He gets into his gallery, his balcony upstairs. In a 2-story house, he had his balcony upstairs. He goes to his balcony and he sees a line of people lined up early in the morning. And he asks his people, what's going on? And they said they are going to the house of Yahya Barmaki to go and greet him, to go and say salam to him. And he says, I am the Khalif. These people are going to pay their respect to Yahya Barmaki, right? As he was coming down from his balcony, he is completely upset, messed up in his head, right? Hubba dunya. He is in love with this world. And the people are going to see Yahya Barmaki. As he's coming down from his balcony, you know what he notices? He notices that when those people would come, they would tie their donkeys, right, outside the house of Yahya Barmaki. And the backside of the donkeys would face his house. That is what bothered him. That day, one fine day, he said, how dare the animals of these people point their backside to my house? He ordered his people to go to the house of Ja'far, the son of Yahya. In the morning, they dragged him out of bed, they cut off his head. Cut off his head. And he took the head and he told his people, take the head and give it to Yahya Barmaki, my own prime minister. Let him see what happens to the people who disrespect Harun al-Rashid. Yahya Barmaki, he was an old man by this time. Ja'far was his favorite son. His favorite son. History says that Harun al-Rashid would take Ja'far, put him on his khamba, on his shoulders, and tour him in his garden. When Ja'far was young, Harun al-Rashid would put him on his shoulders and take him around the garden through his bagh and show him his bagh. That was the favorite child of Yahya. But Harun al-Rashid was so upset that the animals would point their backside to his house that he had Yahya beheaded right there in the morning. and the Ja'far and the son and the head was taken to Yahya as a message that this is what happens if you try and gain more importance than Harun al-Rashid. This is the Banu Abbas. These are the kind of khalifas. We're talking about khalifas of the Muslim ummah that we had at the time. Understand how these people, not only do they hate the Ahlul Bayt, they are so messed up in their head and they are so worried about the power. They were all about the power. And they ruled for 800 years. So the time of our 11th Imam, at the age of 22, when he became Imam, now the Khalifa is constantly watching him. Because from his lineage will come the Mahdi. And so he's constantly scared. Right? I'll give you one more example of how they would then use the Imams. Right? Because they hated the Imams. They had disgust for the Imams. But they also knew the importance of the Imams. And that's the point I want to connect to our 12th Imam. Please recite the salawat. So the town was going through some hardships. This is at the time of the 11th Imam. This is a story that is recorded. Mu'tamid, the Khalifa, right, says that go to those Christian monks. There were some Christian monks. Tell them to pray for rain. So they prayed for rain. They prayed for rain, and rain came. Then he told his people, tell the Christian monks, next day, tell the Christian monks to come in front of my house or come in front of the garden and pray for rain. And they came, and they prayed for rain, and rain came. And now Mu'tamid, the Khalifa, becomes a little bit worried. He says, hold on a second here, what am I doing here? My people are going to start now all of a sudden realizing the importance of Christianity. These people pray for rain, God answers them. I'm going to create a problem for myself. Now he's a little bit paskaya, right? He's stuck. He calls the Imam. Imam is under house arrest. He calls the Imam and he tells him, I need your help. Unfortunately, right, I have asked these Christians to pray for rain and rain is falling. I need your help now. The people are a little bit waswas. They're beginning to doubt Islam and my position. Khalifa, right? Imam, you see, the point I'm trying to make here is the importance of the Imam, the role of an Imam, right? Imam is calm. Imam is not unsettled. He tells Mu'tamid, no problem, I'll take care of the situation. The next day, when the monks are about to pray for rain, Imam tells his people, he says, go to the chief monk, the monk who is standing right in the front. Open his hand. Tell him to open his hand. Just before he's about to pray, the monk opens his hand. In his hand, there is a bone. Imam says, bring that bone. Tells the monk, bring that bone. The monk gives the bone to the Imam. And then the Imam tells the monk, now pray for rain. He prays for rain, no rain. He prays for rain again, no rain. The Imam says, this bone is the bone of a prophet. It was given to these Christian monks to guard. Without this bone, their prayer is not answered. Imam puts the bone down, he raises his hand, he prays for rain, and rain comes. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. He reassures the people that the path to Allah is through the right way. The bone in that case was the right way that they had. But now when you take the bone out of the picture, I am praying to Allah and rain is coming. It is through this one incident that the life of the Imam was a little bit relaxed. Mu'tamid allowed the Imam now to come out and a little bit come in front of the public, right? To come in, let the people know that the Islam is the correct way. Imam became Imam at the age of 22. His Imamate lasted how many years? Anybody know? 6 years. 11th Imam died at the age of 28. Now those of us who have passed the age of 28, I'm doing it for myself, you do it for yourself. Just think back when you were 28 years old. If you were to have lost your life at the age of 28, right? What would you have accomplished in life? What would I have accomplished in life at the age of 28, right? 6 years of Imamate, tender age of 28. What did the Imam accomplish in that age? Let me give you a few examples of what he did. One of the most profound things that we have is a commentary, exegesis of the Quran that the 11th Imam had left for us. And he worked on this continuously, not just when he became Imam, continuously, even before he became Imam. At the age of 28, when he died, this exegesis was complete. In fact, one of the books that we have, Usul al-Kafi, Usul al-Kafi is divided into volumes, right? You know how many hadiths we have in Usul al-Kafi, roughly? 16,000 hadith. 16,000 hadith in Usul al-Kafi, right? You know how many hadith we have in the Sahih Sitta, the Sunni books of hadith? 6,000, maybe 7,000 hadith. We have more than double the number of hadiths that they have. But these are just hadith, they're just collection. Al-Kulaini, when he compiled Al-Kafi, he just compiled all the hadith. There is none of this, this is from the Sahih and this is like that. No, they're just all hadith, right? It is said that the Imam, 11th Imam, made sure that the people understood that my son, when he goes into ghaiba, when he will no longer be seen to the people, right? The message of the Ahlul Bayt has to be continued. So he made sure people understood the importance of collecting these hadith. Wherever they came from, just collect them, right? So one, exegesis of the Quran that the 11th Imam worked on. Two is compiling these hadith. He made sure that the people were aware of the importance of collecting these hadith, right? So this is what the Imam did. And at the age of 28, now I'm going to transfer a little bit into the life of our current Imam. At the age of 28, when the Imam died, right, there was already some concern about who will come after the Imam, right? His son, the 12th Imam, was already born. He was 5 years old, right? The 8th Imam, when he died and his body was prepared, ghusl was done, it came time for Salatul Janazah. Salatul Janazah, they were waiting, who is going to come and lead Salatul Janazah? So Mu'tamid, Caliph, already got his spies and said that the moment you see the person leading the Salatul Janazah, make sure you take him. Make sure you take him. Because he knew. He knew what? Only an Imam can lead Salatul Janazah of an Imam. Right? He knew that. And he knew that the person who will lead the Salatul Janazah will be the 12th Imam. He didn't expect a young boy of 5 years old to come. So the Imam's brother was about to lead Salatul Janazah because they waited. Nobody came. So the Imam's body was there and his brother was about to lead Salatul Janazah. All of a sudden, from the house, the same house where the spies were watching, 12th Imam walks out, 5-year-old boy. And he told his uncle, step aside. I'm going to lead Salatul Janazah. At the age of 5, our 12th Imam led the Salatul Janazah of his father. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The moment Salatul Janazah was finished, the spies came to take him and he disappeared. And he was gone. They looked, and they could never find him. And this is the period of Ghaibatul Sughra, where he went into the small occultation, right? And so this is the beginning of the imamat of our 12th Imam, right? Please recite the salawat. Now when the time comes to die, and our time will come, right? The question is, what will we have done with our life, right? Because when the time comes, there's no moving it forward and there's taking it back. That's not possible. You know the story of Sulaiman, right? My kids probably remember this story, right? Sulaiman, remember Sulaiman, the gift that he had. Sulaiman would talk the language of the birds and the language of the animals. Even the ant, he would speak their language. Sulaiman was given the abundant blessings. The jinn, you know, when we hear of jinn, we get scared, right? The jinn used to work for Sulaiman. They would go in the water and dive for him and bring out pearls for him. Sulaiman had abundant blessings, right? When it came time for Sulaiman to die, and he was standing in his house with a staff, with a rod, and Malakul Maut came and he said, your time is done. Sulaiman didn't even get a chance to sit down. He was standing. His life, his soul was taken while he was standing. In his balcony, he was standing and he was dead. The jinn were working down there. It was only days later, when an ant started eating the stick of Sulaiman, that Sulaiman's body fell down. And the jinn said, oh my God, all this time we've been working and Sulaiman is dead. Right? So when the time comes, the time comes. There's no pushing it forward or taking it back, right? In the life of our 11th Imam, very short life, 28 years, but it was a very productive life. He was able to accomplish so much. So the question we need to ask ourselves is, in our life, whatever we have of it, how much are we capable of accomplishing? And why leave to tomorrow what you can do today? Right? Why leave to tomorrow what you can do today? Let me give you an interesting example. When a child is born, right? When a child is born, the child is crying, right? The child is crying. But we parents are happy, right? The child is crying, but we are so happy, so elated. Right? If you juxtapose these two things, it's quite interesting, the human psychology. The child is crying, we're happy. At the time of death, right? Somebody dies, I'm crying. I don't know, but maybe that person is very happy. Right? It's an interesting juxtaposition, right? I may be crying because I am feeling the loss. But that person may be very content, may be very satisfied, because they have reached that point in their life that they wanted to reach. This should be our aim. This should be our hope. That when we leave this world and the Salatul Janazah is recited for us, the people may cry and weep because they're losing us. They're missing us. But we need to make sure that we're content at that place. We're happy that in this life, we led a productive life and we led a life of purpose. There was a reason for our life, that we did something, right? I want to take a few moments and stress on this concept of imama, right? This concept of imama, it's a very, very important concept. And unfortunately, sometimes we take it very lightly, right? Like I said in the beginning, that Imam al-Hussein at his time, he was the imam of his time. And the people were not ready to respond to him. The imam of our time today, right? Are we ready to respond to him? Who is he? What exactly? How much faith do we have in our imam? How connected are we to our imam? Right? So I take my example. How connected am I to my imam? Let's say imam comes, right, and he needs an accountant to straighten the affairs of the Muslims. Have I thought about that? Let's say imam comes and he needs to send a message worldwide to circulate it, and he needs some technological help. Have I thought about it? Am I prepared to be part of his movement? How connected? My imam is alive right now, today, right this very second, my imam is alive. Have I said salam to him today? Right? Have I made that connection with my imam today? Because Imam al-Hussein at the time, the people disrespected him. Right? We know that. The tragedy that we have just spent 60 days commemorating was all about that the people disrespected the imam. This is why in ziyarah that Ahmed read today, we say, may my mother and my father be sacrificed for you, O my imam. I'm ready for you. But am I really ready? I want to read to you 2 lines from Dua Nudba to explain the link that the imam has. This is very important. Because our du'as and our faith, Shiaism, centers around this concept of the imam. Today, when we look at the world, right, unfortunately, most of the Muslims, right, are just verbal Muslims, right? They just verbally do stuff, and sometimes you go to some Wahhabis, recite Quran beautifully, but it rings hollow, right? Because the actions don't reflect the words, right? Our way of thinking is a little bit different. But we have this important connection, the imam. Are we making use of that connection? Look at the way in Dua Nudba, the Prophet talks about Imam Ali. He says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَلَوْلَا أَنْتَ يَا عَلِي لَمْ يُعْرَفِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ بَعْدِي. Right? He says, if it were not for you, O Ali, right, after my demise, after I am gone, the believers would not be known. The believers would not be known had you not been there, O Ali. Right? وَكَانَ بَعْدَ حُدًى مِّنَ الضَّلَالِ. And after the Prophet, Ali was what? He was a guide. حُدًى مِّنَ الضَّلَالِ. From errant behavior. He was a guide. And then, وَنُورًا مِنَ الْعَمَى. And he was a light to help them see. وَحَبْلُ اللَّهِ الْمَتِينَ. Right? Now I'm not calling you Mateen. وَحَبْلُ اللَّهِ الْمَتِينَ. Our Imam, that Imam and this Imam, our books say that he is Hablullah Mateen. Do you know what that means? Let me read you the explanation, right? The lifeline to God, the connection to God, but not any connection, Mateen, the strongest connection to God. The connection between the earth and the heavens is the Imam. This is our belief. So Dua Nudba says, right? وَصِرَاطَهُ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ اهْدِنَا الصِّرَاطَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. The answer is here, that the path of the Imam is Sirat al-Mustaqim. Now this is about Ali, alayhi salam. Later in this dua is beautiful. Later in this dua, there is a eulogy, a nudba, about our 12th Imam. And look at the way we are supposed to think about our Imam. Dua nudba, right? أين جامع كلمة التقوى أين باب الله الذي منه يؤتى. Where is the Babullah, the gateway to God, that is the only way in which one can approach God? So we are asking, Imam is telling us to ask, where is our door to God? Right? No, he says even further, Aina wajhullah, the focal point of God, our 12th Imam. Aina wajhullah alladhi ilayhi yatawajjahul awliya. Where is that focal point of God, right? Through which God's friends turn to Him. We turn to God and God only, right? But we have a focal point. Then he says, أين السبب المتصل بين الأرض والسماء. Where is that lifeline that links the earth to the sky, right? The Imam, our Imam, is that connection that we have, right? It is that one thing that we're supposed to hold on to that connects us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In these times, what's been 1400 years since the Imam has gone into guiding, and this is a miracle. I mean, we are witnessing a miracle that we have an Imam that we cannot see. You know, if you think about some of the miracles, for those of you who are here in Jummah that I mentioned, right? When I read this, I was shocked, right? That the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, of Nabi Lut, you know, I mentioned this in Jummah and I'll mention it again here. 4 angels came down. And the 4 angels took their wings, they spread them out. And they literally planted their wings. This is in Bihar al-Anwar. They planted their wings in the 4 sides of the city of Nabi Lut. And they raised the city up with their wings. Right? I mean, we have miracles that have happened in our history. What happened with Musa alayhi salam was nothing but a miracle. When the water parted like this, and he walked through it, right? When Suleiman talks to the ants, this is a miracle. Our miracle that is happening right now is that we have an Imam who is in ghaiba. We just cannot see him. That's it. We just cannot see him. But he is alive. He is our path, and he is our guide. The question is, how connected are we to him, right? And so as we enter these phases, of the end of the morning, right? The whole reason for remembering Abu Abdullah is to bring us with that connection to our Imam, right? To try and give us a focus. Many times we look at this day as a point where now, okay, we can take off black clothes and we can forget the gham and we can be happy now, right? Unfortunately, those are cultural ways that we had of thinking, right? The whole idea is, how connected are we to our Imam? And if not, have we reconnected to our Imam, right? Through these days of Azah, right? We have big numbers, Muslims, big numbers. But we are weak in leadership, right? And the Imam is waiting for this. The 313 chief commanders who will be there, each one will also have their own army, right? If we don't make 313, maybe we can make his army, Each one of those 313 will have an army, right? Preparing for the arrival. Not necessarily army to fight, but to prepare for the arrival, right? At least let us aspire to that. Let us have some focus, right? And the events that unfolded in Karbala were primarily because the people were ignorant. Why is it that when the Imam goes out to the people and he tells them, do you not know who I am? And they said, yes, we know. You are the grandson of the Prophet. And they would pray Allahu Akbar and they would say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasul. But then they would go and kill his family. This can happen. Can you think about it? Would it happen right now? It would happen right now. It would happen right now. People are so ignorant and unaware of the role of an Imam, right? And so it is up to us to make sure that not only are we connected to our Imam, but we are also spreading that message, right? I want to end with this, which is the Hadith al-Qudsi that I've been mentioning, because talking about the hardships, today's a cold day, right? So many of us maybe went to work and then it was hard to sort of leave home and come here. These hardships in this world are nothing but trials and tests, right? And this is why in the Hadith al-Qudsi that I've been mentioning in Jummah, and I'll mention it again tomorrow, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again this is timeless advice, right? He is talking to Nabi Dawood and he said, Ya Dawood, inni wada'atu khamsatin fi khamsa. وَالنَّاسُ يَطْلُبُونَ فِي خَمْسَةٍ غَيْرِهَا فَلَا يَجِدُونَها. Right? I have kept 5 things hidden inside of 5 things. The last one is what? إِنِّي وَضَعْتُ الرَّاحَ فِي الْجَنَّةِ وَالنَّاسُ يَطْلُبُونَ فِي الدُّنْيَا فَلَا يَجِدُونَها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells his prophet, Nabi Dawood, I have kept happiness. You want to find happiness? Contentment? Comfort? Ease? I have kept it in Jannah, not in this world. But man, yatlubuna fid dunya. Man is always, women as well, is always looking for it in the dunya. I want comfort, I want ease, shanti, I don't want to work too much, go out of my comfort zone. You will never find it in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us, right? We will find it in Jannah. And so through this path, through the struggling that we have, and through the activism that we have inside of us to remember our Imam and to try and connect to our Imam, that is our path to Jannah. And so let us try and work on it. Dua Nudba is beautiful if we're looking for that connection. For example, if you're feeling a little bit low and you need some connection to the Imam, Dua Nudba is very powerful for that. It's a beautiful dua. It's very, very mixed. It talks about all sorts of things. But it can really, for even the Battle of Karbala is mentioned in Dua Nudba, right? Where is the person who will come and take revenge for the blood that was spilled in Karbala, right? Dua Nudba is very powerful for that. And so especially on the day of Friday, it is recommended to recite Dua Nudba, because the day of Friday, the Imam's imamat started on the day of Friday, and we have many hadiths that say that he will also reappear on the day of Friday. So the day of Friday, tomorrow, it's very auspicious, because chances are more than likely that he will reappear, not tomorrow, I don't know, but on a Friday. And so the day of Friday is especially good to try and remember this dua. And so if we feel that need that we need that connection, then inshallah let us try and pick, for example, Dua Nudba, and to try and recite it. I don't want to go on for too long because I know it's a weekday and people have to get back. We pray that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to try and learn about our Imam, to try and connect with our Imam. And as the days of Azaa are over, let us not go into this mode of total forgetting and just joyfulness, but let us try and remember the tragedy of Imam and the significance that it has to our lives right now as well. And for those mu'mineen who are going through hardships, difficulties, here in Austin, perhaps in our family, and throughout the world, we pray that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease the difficulties and the hardship of all the mu'mineen. You may have heard, for example, what is happening in Iraq, in Syria. Today, for example, in Syria, what they were describing Aleppo, what they were describing was so difficult to imagine, right? Imagine the same thing that has happened in Iraq already is now happening in Syria. And there are people, just like we're feeling this cold right now, there are people who don't even have shelters over their heads, right? And so there are families, entire families, young as well as old, who are going through lots of hardships and difficulties. We pray that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease some of their hardships and their difficulties. And if we have the ability to pray for them, to send some money or to do something. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to try and use those that are at our disposal. Shaitan is always there when we want to give a little bit or do something. He's always there to stop us. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to overcome shaitan and to try and give, inshallah, so that we can get in the hereafter. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Inshallah, we're going to end with the ziyarah of Imam Hassan al-Askari alayhi salam. Just two quick, notes. One is, obviously, we thank the whole community for coming out to the programs of Muharram, Safar, and Rabi' Awal. And our hope is that through these programs, we'll remember to always, if we can't raise a hand to justice, at least raise our voices against injustice. And also, Dua Nudba, as Brother Abbas mentioned. I would say our whole aqidah is right there in Dua Nudba. And hopefully, if we have to recite it tomorrow, then that's the last time we have to recite it, but we'll see. Who knows? So with that, I'll give it to Brother Hassan Akhtar to recite ziyarah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أبا محمد الحسن بن علي الهادي المهدي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا ولي الله وابن أوليائي السلام عليك يا حجة الله وابن حججه السلام عليك صفي الله وابن أصفيائي السلام عليك يا خليفة الله وابن خلفائي وآباء خليفتي السلام عليك يا ابن خاتم النبيين السلام عليك يا ابن سيد الوصيين السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين السلام عليك يا ابن سيد نساء العالمين السلام عليك يا ابن الأئمة الهادين السلام عليك يا ابن الأوصياء الراشدين السلام عليك يا اسمة المتقين السلام عليك يا إمام الفائزين السلام عليك يا ركن المؤمنين السلام عليك يا فرج الملهوفين السلام عليك يا وارث الأنبياء المنتجبين السلام عليك يا خازن العلم وسي رسول الله السلام عليك أيها الداعي بحكم الله السلام عليك أيها الناطق بكتاب الله السلام عليك يا حجة الحججاء السلام عليك يا هادي الأمم السلام عليك ولي النعم السلام عليك يا عيبة العلم السلام عليك يا سفينة الحلم السلام عليك يا أبا الإمام المنتظر الظاهرة لآقل الحجة والتابة في اليقين معرفته المنتهجب عن الأعين الظالمين والمغيب عن دولة الفاسقين والمعيد ربنا به الإسلام جديدا بعد الانتماس والقرآن الغضبا بعد الاندراس أشهد يا مولاي أنك أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر ودعوت إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وعبدت الله مخلصا حتى أتاك اليقين أسأل الله بالشأن الذي لكم عنده أن يتقبل زيارتي لكم ويشكر سعي إليكم ويستجيب دعائي بكم ويجعلني من أنصار الحق وأتباع الأشياء ومواله مهم به والسلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وآل بيته وصل على الحسن بن علي الهادي إلى دينك والداعي إلى سبيلك عالم الهدى منار التقى ومعدن الهجاء ومأوى النهى وغيث الورى وصحاب الحكمة وبهر الموعظة ووارث الأئمة والشهيد على الأمة أمة المعصوم المحذب والفاضل المقرب والمطهر من الرس الذي ورثته علم الكتاب وألهمت الفضل الخطاب ونسبته ألما لأهل قبولتك وقرنت طاعت بطاعتك وفرضت مودته على جميع خليقتك اللهم فكما أناب بحسن الإخلاص في توحيدك وأرضى من خاد في تشبيهك وحام عن أهل الإيمان بك وصل الله يا ربي عليه صلوات يلحق بها محل الخاشئين ويعال في الجنة بدرجة الجد وخاتم النبيين بلغه منا تحية وسلاما وآتينا من لدنك في المولات فضلا وإحسانا ومغفرة ورضوانا إنك ذو الفضل العظيم ومن جسيم اللهم صل على سيدنا الزمان السلام عليك خليفة الرحمن السلام عليك إمام الإنس والجان السلام عليك مرز الإيمان السلام عليك شيخ القرآن أجل الله تعالى فرجك فسهل الله مخرجك ظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته السلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآله. Yeah, may Allah accept this from us. May Allah accept the Imam Zaman, the salam that he sent on his father, inshallah.